Hey guys, welcome back to another War of the Visions video, and today I am back once again for another account overview. It has been 1200 days since I've started playing the game. I'm not exactly a day one player, but around the first week or so it's definitely been a ride with some ups and downs, as some of you could probably tell with my last video. But like I said in my last video as well, I do plan on continuing making these account overview videos every 100 days or so, just to show how I guess my free-to-play account develops, and just to show that I am still free to play. I do have the first purchase bonus here, which I assume goes away when you purchase your first set of viz, so I do have that on the side. Other than that, I do also have my royal rank here, if some of you want to see, about 5.5 for royal rank. So yeah, that is my free-to-play status, I suppose. But other than that, I don't really have anything to say at the beginning here, so let's just jump right into the account overview. So heading into my units box, I'm just going to briefly scroll through all of my units here, just to give a quick overview to anyone who's curious. See how many URs I have, I suppose. So about like 60% of my units page is UR units, and that is the rest of my units. But getting into the individual elements, I'll just go over what has changed since my last account overview video, which was at 1100 days, and talk about my thought processes on the units, I guess, that I built or got. So since my last account overview video, for fire, I guess the only changes are that I got Yuffie to 140, Raldor to 99, and Seymour to 140. Since last time, my Yuffie was at LB4 level 89, but I just built her up slowly over the 100 days, and I did get her to 140 eventually, which was not too slow actually. I did get her to 140 fairly quickly with my Mog medals, so that wasn't too bad. For Raldor, I did build him up to 99 just because I was thinking that I could probably build a striking team with like Alphonse, Edward, Raldor, just because I am missing Perrine. But I just stopped at 99 just because I'm not too sure if I want to go all in on 120ing him just yet. But he is an option that I can use if I ever want to use a striking team, so he is there. And for Seymour, he's actually my next max reincarnation MR unit. So right now he's sitting at 75 reincarnations, and he stopped because I did actually run out of scrolls and Mog medals, so it might take a while for me to max reincarnate him, but he's about 5 to 6 reincarnations away from being max. So once I do max reincarnate him, I might do a video on him. I did do a video on him way back when I believe EX jobs first came out, so just maybe I might make a video on Seymour. He was pretty fun back then, but I don't know how well he would fare in today's meta. But speaking of meta, of course, my firebox is a bit more fired up now, I suppose, since I do have the iconic evasion team. It served me well. I've used it a couple of times, but since I've burnt out of the game a bit, I don't know how well it still does against like Bradley teams or Sephiroth teams or Wingstern teams. I'm pretty sure it's still meta though. Other than that, I am also building Valentine's Yadira with my hard quest, but she has a bit of ways to go since I am just slowly building her. I'm not using any soul stars on her. So yeah, that is really it for fire. But moving on to ice. For ice, not really much has changed except 140 Velis, 120 Eliza, and 120 Medina. 140 Velos just because Velos is so good and I use him a lot in my farming teams. 120 Eliza just because I've always wanted to build up Eliza, but I'm still missing Elia in my account, so I can't exactly run Ice Missile just yet, and I think Ice Missile might be starting to get a bit outdated, so that's a bit unfortunate, but I just like Eliza aesthetically. So hopefully one day I can use Eliza as a PvP unit. And for Medina, who knows? I usually call her Medina. I did 120 her just to get that free antler from the bingo board quest. Don't really use her for anything. She used to be a really good farmer back in the day, but those days are long gone. So not much else going for ice. No big plans either. No Reagan, no Howlet. If I do get them though, I will probably build them just because they cost 100, and I do think Reagan and Howlet look really nice. Who knows, maybe with like the Vizback summon tickets that they're doing next week, I think maybe I will do a poll video on that, see what new units I might get. Maybe I'll get nothing, hopefully I don't get nothing. But for ice, nothing else going for it. And so moving on to wind. For wind, not much has changed, but little changes have happened that I'd say are pretty significant, and that would be 140 Edward, 120 Sottily, and Max Reincarnation Dario. Now Edward, I did recently just build up to 140 just because I was going to use him for the quick pick matches that were cancelled. I was thinking about an Alphonse, Edward, and Sottily team for quick pick matches, but I only got in about 5 matches before they canceled the season, so I couldn't really test out the team as much. I could have tested it in arena, but I don't know, it's just something about arena these days that doesn't really spark a flame inside me, I guess. But I do definitely need to playtest Edward and Sottily a bit more. And Google crashed on me. I'll be right back. So, as I was saying, I do need to playtest Edward and Sottily a bit more. Maybe I'll get back into arena, start using them. I do know like Sottily and Glaciella are quite the combo. Maybe I'll add Edward in there as well. But other than that, these two still a lot to work with, and I'm quite excited to use them, I suppose. And other than that, for Max Reincarnation Dario, I did make a video on him. He is probably my go-to MR tank, as I've said in the past, and I'll probably use him for future class matches maybe. I do have other plans for other lower rated units, but it's just Dario, you know? He is always good to use, and that is wind. So, moving on to earth. For earth, nothing much has changed. Almost nothing has changed actually, other than me 120ing Resnick, and it wasn't a really hard climb to build Resnick just because I do also have more, so I did stack up on double the Mind Spheres. So Resnick, not too bad to 120, but I have not used Resnick whatsoever just because I am missing a lot of key players for Earth, I believe. I'm missing like Queen Macherie, Rogia, Dialdo, Bradley. Those are all big players for Earth, and I have absolutely none of them. And in the future, Melnia, I would love to get Melnia. She looks great, but once again, I just don't have key players for Earth, maybe other than Oberon, but other than that, like, who knows, you know. But besides like UR units, I do plan on building Balo to 140 max reincarnating Balo, just because I do think his reincarnation abilities are really funny and really interesting. So I would like to see how Balo performs, even in like a non-mono Earth team. Maybe I'll just put him there just to be there, you know. But other than that, Earth is pretty... It's starting to decline for me, I suppose. It's starting to get... What's the word? Power crept, I suppose, just because I don't have any key players for Earth. But yeah, that's really it for Earth. Moving on to Lightning. For Lightning, small changes have happened. I got Alphonse to 140, and newsflash, I did actually get Vega during Dialdo. During the Dialdo week, I did actually post a community post showing like the random URs I got from the Dialdo YOLO polls that I did. I think it was like Stern and Miranda. And then like literally one day after that, when they gave out like the 2 free tickets and the 1 free ticket from the shop, within those 3 polls, I did actually get Vega, and that was quite surprising actually. At first I thought it was Dialdo, but I found out it was Vega, and I think I'm quite glad with getting Vega just because his TMR is really interesting. I think there's a lot of opportunities with this TMR just because it does give the chance to bestow Berserk, and that just opens up so many new possibilities in terms of just status ailments, and yeah. So really excited to build up Vega. I'm already about LB4 with him. Honestly, I might just build him to the TMR. Who knows if I'm gonna build him all the way to 120. That's gonna take a bit of time, and by that time I'll probably have like Wedding Elia. Hopefully I'll have Wedding Elia, but Vega, yeah. Vega, I think he is definitely going to revitalize my account a bit, revitalize my passion for PvP or cheesy PvP builds, and yeah, maybe he'll take me out of my burnout. But other than that, for Lightning, I do plan on building Layart to max reincarnation. I did buy some silver scrolls during the Dialdo banner, and I just think maybe I should pair Vega's TMR with Layart, and I think that could really make a deadly combo, just because Layart is quite the status effect ranger. She has like poison, immobilize, charm, disable. I want to say she has disable, but just know that I might try to cook something up here with Vega's TMR and Layart max reincarnated. And other than that, Alphonse, I still need to play a bit more with Alphonse, test him out a bit, but I do, in the few times that I've used him, I did like him as a tank very much. So, heading into water, Now for water, literally nothing has changed for water whatsoever except for Daya. No big plans for water. Absolutely no big plans for water. I think water is quite a dead element for me nowadays. I was planning on getting Ferris, but I am probably not going for Ferris now, just because like wedding Alaya apparently is super meta, and that is just so unfortunate for water. But a lot of buts today. There might be a global original next week. They could be water. If they're water, I have no clue who it might be. Absolutely no clue. But if it's like a water global original, other than like Lara Croft, that might revitalize water, who knows. But other than that, no big plans for water whatsoever, and no big changes. So moving on to light. For light, no big changes here as well, except that I am currently building Addison Ray. I do have about like 280 Mind Spheres for Addison right now, but she's still like level 84 just because I don't want to use my XL EXP cubes on her. So just holding that for later, and once I do have enough to 120 her, I'll probably will 120 her, but as of right now I'm just slowly building Addison Ray. And speaking of Addison Ray, I guess I never told my stance on like the whole collab with her. I'm really indifferent about it. I don't really care whether or not she's in the game or not, but like I do think like the collab as a whole was a weird target demographic, I suppose, but I guess it was the company trying something new, and who knows if it worked out. So that's really it for light, I guess. Not much else going for it. I haven't 140 Locke, Elena, Lucio, none of that. But maybe one day I might 140 them, but I'm currently just holding on to my antlers. So moving on to Dark has not changed whatsoever. There's zero changes. Like for water, at least there was Daya, right? For light, there was Addison Ray, but for Dark, nothing has changed since 1100 days in my other account overview video. So not much going for Dark. I don't have Sephiroth. I don't have, who else do I don't have? 140 Dwayne, I guess. But for Raph, she's probably coming soon. There's a good chance I might YOLO pull for her, but I highly doubt it. I really want to save for Bride Alaya nowadays, just because I got Vega. I think Vega can satisfy like my pulling needs for now. And yeah, it's just unfortunate that my dark box is starting to fall off a bit, just because I don't have Sephiroth, and I probably won't have Raph. But yeah, just a bit unfortunate, I guess. And speaking back to light, I do not have Wingstern, but I do hope I get Wingstern one day, maybe during the Vizback ticket polls next week. I think it's next week. Hopefully it's next week. But that is just my unit box as a whole. So that took quite a while to record, so moving quickly on to vision cards. Vision cards, not much has changed, I suppose, other than I did get the FMA cards. I did get a couple of weapon job cards, and these are the cards that I'm building now. Speaking of unique cards that I have, I guess I did randomly get the Addison Rae card from like the free 10 tickets that they gave out, and I am kind of slowly building this. You can't really slow build unique or limited vision cards, but I'm just waiting for the Vizback ticket summons so I can get the vision, or the vision stars for this card. And once I do max out on the card in terms of vision stars, I will probably buy the rest of the shards for this card before it goes away, because unfortunately you cannot build limited vision cards out of its event period, which is really dumb in my opinion. But if it comes down to it, I will buy shards for this card if I don't get enough vision stars to build this card. But other than that, these are the other cards that I'm currently building, and that's really it for visions cards. Dark Espers too. I'm missing a lot of Dark Espers. I think the only Dark Esper that I have is Dark Odin, which is kind of sad. Speaking of Espers though, here are my Espers. Not much has changed in terms of Espers. Let's sort them by level here. Not much has changed. I do think my Esper box is falling off quite a bit, just because I do lack a lot of Dark Espers. As I've said, the only Dark Esper that I have is Dark Odin. In terms of other Espers, I guess I do have Bahamut and Odin, regular Odin, but those are like the only high cost Espers that I have. No Dark Espers whatsoever, no Anima. But that might be a detriment to my account, I suppose, that I am lacking a lot of Dark Espers, and it is starting to catch up on me, I suppose, in terms of staying with the meta. But other than Espers, moving on to equipment. In terms of equipment is same as ever. Just a bunch of random equipment, and I do hold on to a lot of recipes. Don't really build them though, but I do eventually build them whenever I need them. Maybe say like I want to build Alphonse's Knuckles. I'll just build it whenever I want to, but for now I just hold on to the recipes and just use the current like weapons or equipment that I have. So not much going for equipment, and other than that, I guess I'll show off my Mog Shop. In terms of Mog Shop, I'm currently holding on to the July medals, see what I'm going to get from the Vizback summon tickets. If I get like Wingstern, I'll be over the moon. If I get Hyo, I'll also be over the moon. Honestly, if I get Reagan, Stern, Hyo, Alaya, and Howlet, Howlet, he should be here as well. I'd be really glad to get them. Omnellus, maybe not. Mashari, I don't know, maybe. But just like the more recent cost 100s, I'd really like to get, just because aesthetically I think they look really cool, especially Hyo, Reagan. They're from the original FFBE, which I did play quite a bit. And for friend medals, I'm sitting around 7k friend medals. I could buy these scrolls for Seymour, but I usually save my friend medals to just get some more Mog medals here, and guild medals as well. I usually save them for some more Mog medals. And for stars, I'm currently pretty low on stars. For soul stars, I've used quite a bit on Vega. Vision stars, as I've said, I'm probably gonna use them all on this card right here before I buy some more shards. And for Mog medals, I'm pretty low on Mog medals right now, just because I have been buying Addison Ray medals. 282 right now. In terms of MR Mog medals, pretty low as well, just because I've been buying scrolls. These Mog medals, SR Mog medals, I have been buying the scrolls in preparation for Balo. Silver Mog medals, also very low, just because I'm starting to buy some scrolls for Layart. And yeah, that is really it for my Mog medal shop, I suppose. And that should be the account overview. So, pretty messy account overview in my opinion. I'm gonna have to edit quite a bit of stuff, do a few cutouts, but it has definitely been a ride. 1200 days of War of the Visions. Hopefully I still go strong for a couple more years, who knows. But in terms of my next video, hopefully next week they do give out those Viz back summon tickets. In terms of Viz that I've spent about 1.6 million Viz in this game, all free to play. Some offer wall Viz, just saying, some offer wall Viz is in there. Even before the whole fiasco, I did do the offer wall before, so who knows how many tickets I'll get. Hopefully it's gonna be a lot, so I can have a good chance at getting someone new for my account. And yeah, so that is my account overview. If you watched to the end, this is probably a pretty long video. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, peace.